Thank you very much for joining me. I'm sorry it's been so long since I've been on, apart from having Nick on 10 days ago. So I've been a bit quiet. But thanks for joining me. If you're watching this live, thank you so much. I will jump in the comments in a wee second. If you're watching this on replay, thanks so much. I know everybody says this, but please like the video and subscribe if you haven't, because it really helps my channel. So as you know, I've got the wonderful James Collins from the Pure Life Foundation with me this evening. What I'm going to do though is I'm actually, for people that don't really know what James does or what his project does, I have got one of his wee videos. So it's just a wee 4-minute video. It's just going to kind of show you what James is like as a person and what he does. So yes, we're going to play that just now, peeps, okay? I'm going to just...
All right, so James here with Ryan. We ran into a young man who was really hungry, so we're gonna take him into Shawarma Palace today to go on top of the other people we helped earlier. So I hope you enjoy this, guys. Thanks.
You guys are awesome.
Get whatever you want. Yeah, you don't need your sign, bro.
Oh yeah.
Look at what you want to eat.
Hey guys, how are you?
We're amazing, brother.
Can I get a large chicken shawarma with the combo, I guess? Everything on it, boss? Yeah, garlic and hummus and everything but turnips, please. Does this come with the combo? Potatoes for that? Yeah. Garlic sauce? Yes, please. And everything?
Man, I'm a world traveling guy.
Yeah.
And I can't travel anymore because of COVID. So I was like, how can I get as much joy out of life here, not in Amsterdam? Amsterdam or Spain or someplace else, and it was like, why not take that travel money and make me feel valuable? It makes me feel so good. People are like, what do you get out of this? I get so much out of this.
Don't worry about it. That's all. Thanks so much. Are you sure?
Really?
Really?
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Wow, you guys are so amazing.
I'm looking at you. You guys are amazing.
Oh, look, we're the Pure Love Foundation.
Okay, thank you. You guys are so amazing. Look at all these people that are helping me out. This is amazing, guys.
I started a
Oh
foundation.
my God, I got like tingles in my heart right
I
now
was
from
going
all
to pay for
this.
the gentleman.
Yeah, I see you guys doing that.
Yeah, I get 15 pizzas from Lorenzo's every week. You know, but on my birthday, I want to do something really big on June 7th.
Okay.
And like restaurants aren't maybe open or this or that, but if it's possible, I do want to bring like 20 homeless people to a restaurant to eat on me for my birthday. And if it's possible, if things are opened up by then, maybe I could use this restaurant and I'll just hire a bus to pick up people and we'll come here.
Here's our card. You can give us a call anytime you like.
And yeah, we'll figure it out as we figure June 2nd or 4th, you'll know what's going on. And from then I'm going to look into how I can get that many people to a place.
That's so sweet of you, honestly.
I love you guys, man.
Thank you so much.
Blowing my mind.
Bless you. Yeah, you too.
This is
guys.
the kindness of people. When you give them a chance, they will make a difference. You can make a difference, people. It's that easy. Wow.
Well, that's just totally broke me. Sorry, guys. I've actually watched that 3 times today, and wow, just wow. Sorry. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Makeup. I wasn't like looking at my makeup. I just knew that my makeup was going to be on my cheeks. But hey, honestly, this is what, it's not just what drew me to James. I've connected with James a good couple of years ago through the Surviving Life community. And you just know when somebody's just a good soul, and it just all comes from the heart, and you know there's no ulterior motive in it, there's no financial gain. He does everything just from the heart, and that's why I want him to get as much coverage and as much awareness of what he does, so that he can get more donations and that he can help more people, and you know, kindness makes more kindness. So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to wipe my eyes and I'm going to bring him in, the most amazing wee soul that I know. Here's James. Well, I think you just broke us all. Wow.
Hi. Good evening.
Wow. Good evening. How are you?
I'm amazing. I'm amazing. Thank you so much for having me again. So it's always a pleasure to be here.
Anytime, anytime. Yeah, I think you've made a couple of people in the comments cry, myself cry, and I have watched that 3 times today, and it's just so honest and transparent, and like I say, there's no ulterior motives. Like, you're not doing this for clout. You rarely even record the things that you do. Remember, I was like, start recording it and getting on TikTok, and you're like, yeah, no, I should. And it's like, no, you know, and you're doing a wee bit more now, but that's what I love about you, James, and I think that's what everybody else sees in you, that you're an honest person and it's from the heart. So
Thank
yeah,
you.
thanks.
So
Thanks
then,
for being
so
here.
then, in all honesty, I got to correct you. I have a massive ulterior motive with what I do. My
Okay.
ulterior motive is to get other people to stop being selfish dicks and to go out and help
Yeah.
a random person.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Another
yeah.
ulterior motive. Like, is it wrong to manipulate another human being if it's only for their benefit?
Yeah,
Right?
but I wouldn't call it manipulation. I'm trying to find a nicer word that wouldn't make it sound as negative.
Right,
But I
right,
get
but
what you mean. I
It's
get
the
what you
power
mean.
of words, right? So people will pay
Planting seeds.
hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to a therapist to be manipulated so
Yeah,
that they
no.
don't feel crappy anymore. So
Yeah, I
like,
get
I'm
that.
going to go out and I want to manipulate their emotions from a lower state to a higher state, just even if it's for a
Absolutely.
moment. But I'm going to call it what it is. I'm going to call it what it is. Words have power, words have meaning, and it is straight up manipulation, and it is an ulterior motive. Like, it
But
makes me
it's
feel
coming
good.
from
It
the
makes
heart.
them feel good.
It's coming from the heart. It's not coming from a vindictive, sneaky, horrible place. Do you know what I mean? You're not like you gain a lot I would say like satisfaction. It's like having a job that you love, sort of thing. But as I say, you do this all from yourself. You don't get a lot of funding. You rely everything on donations. Absolutely everything on donations.
Yep.
Um, you get, I think, is it a couple of wee businesses sometimes help you out with like donations for stuff, but
Yeah, I got
mostly
like there's a local bakery that said that, they've got my back anytime, but you don't want to take advantage. So only when
no, of
there's like
course,
something really big gonna happen, when I'll
yeah.
reach out to people that have the businesses. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
until one day we become a fully nonprofit organization, in which case all of my friends that own businesses know that I'm coming to them with and saying, pull out
Exactly.
your checkbook and
Mm-hmm.
sign me a check, and here's your awesome tax receipt.
Exactly, exactly. I see a lot of like waste. I think I don't know if this is the same with you, but in the UK, if supermarkets are like throwing out their bread and stuff, they have to put it like in a locked bucket, like in a locked bin. And I think that's disgusting. Like, why don't they just like give it to shelters or like, people that need it? Okay, it's going out of date maybe that day, but I'm sure that you can make stuff that I don't know. I just think it's absolute. There's no help really for things that are getting chucked out. I mean, think of the wastage of food that you could use
Yeah.
and think,
So there is some laws, I think, that have recently changed in Canada. Like I have to go to the food bank sometimes, like a lot of families,
yeah.
Walmart has to take their stuff that would be bad tomorrow, and they
Mm.
freeze it, and it goes to the food bank.
Oh, that's
And
good.
like
That's
you
good.
go to the food bank here, they've got big deep freezers full of all kinds of bread,
Oh,
from pita bread and naan bread and regular
brilliant,
bread and buns and
brilliant,
bagels. And they're like,
brilliant.
legit, here, take as much bread as you want
Mm,
to. So
I love that.
I think things are slowly changing that way for our universe, because
Good.
you're right. Food distribution is already a massive issue. A lot of waste comes just in transport.
Mm-hmm.
So the more localized things get, and as well as if these big corporations start taking more responsibility for the fact that they're making massive profits on this stuff, then yeah, if it's
Exactly.
going to go bad tomorrow and the people that could afford to buy it didn't, then yeah, you need to freeze that, and it needs to go to poor families.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
people need to just go to the food bank and not be ashamed if
No,
they have pain,
absolutely.
because that's a lower vibration feeling. And if you're doing good enough, donate to a food bank.
You see, that's the thing.
If
I've
there
had
isn't a
to go to
soup
food banks.
kitchen or
Mm-hmm.
whatnot.
I've had to use food banks. So there's been times that when I had Dylan and I was in temporary accommodation, even times when I've lived here, when I was at college and stuff, I had to use food banks. But like you say, I give back. I'll buy an extra couple of packets of noodles or whatever, and I'll throw them in the little bit that's for the food banks, because I'm a firm believer in like basically what you give out you get back. And I'm not doing it for karma or, oh, I'm going to be so good and feed the homeless. I know what it's like and I've been there. So if I could
Right.
just help somebody else with a wee couple of something, and just one thing, if you were just to donate one thing out your shopping into the wee food bank bits that are in the supermarkets, that would help out so many people. Just
Yep.
buy an extra box of tea bags or an extra, anything, nappies, anything. That would
Yeah,
really
because you're
gonna
helping
make a difference.
yourself. You're helping yourself. I
Exactly.
know you've taken the time to watch the video, The Egg, as well as I'm sure some of your viewers have went and taken the time to
Yes.
watch The Egg. And
Make
like
us cry.
I spoke to you briefly about it many, many months ago,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
It's
Yep.
difficult for a lot of people to grasp, but it's the truth.
Yeah. I feel it's the truth. I
It
feel it's
is.
the truth. It totally resonated with me. It totally resonated. And I did share it on a couple of the group chats that we've got, including the Rise one. And I'm not sure if there's people in the comments that did watch the video, The Egg, that I shared on the group chat, then let me know what you think. But yeah, I mean, it blew my mind, but it didn't, because it's like, yeah, that's basically, remember we were talking about it before, what we believe in and what we think happens. And I was like, yeah, I thought it was nice. It was a little bit sad, but it really did make you think. And I like that. I like things that
Right.
make me think.
Right. Well,
Absolutely.
people in the spiritual community, they talk about the 4D and the 5D and ascension syndromes and awakenings. Right. So these are all stages of the progression in which we all need to live before we can become creators and gods ourselves. I'm
Yeah.
sure you've
Yeah.
seen that some of us have powers of manifestation, some more
Yep.
than others,
Yep.
right? So
Yep.
that's because
Absolutely.
we've been here before we've done this before a million times, right? But we still have like another 8 billion to go. We still have a lot of timelines to live and a lot of knowledge to gain as we share it with the collective. We grow and they grow. We watch over each other in the community. And
do you feel that there's like a point that we stop coming back, like an enlightenment stage as such? You know, you're like become an ascended master or something like that. Like,
yeah,
that's what I'm getting interested in now, is like, right, okay, we've kind of realized what happens. You keep coming back, life lessons. And I'm not saying I'm enlightened now, but I was joking in the group the other day. I was like, oh, I'm not coming back. I'm enlightened. That's it. I'm not coming back. And I
Yeah.
know that that's bollocks. I'm coming back. I've still got a lot of life lessons to learn.
that's the
But
thing, though. It
I do
won't be
wonder.
you. It won't
Sorry?
be you that comes back,
No, of course not.
right?
It's the soul. This is just a human vessel thing.
Right. So my friend and I were having a great discussion about this the other day, and she really felt that she wasn't here. You know,
Okay.
that she's kind of like in a up there or wherever out there, right?
Okay.
Out there, who knows, on a different plane of existence, a different timeline, but since in kind of like a drug-induced coma in which the consciousness has been taken out of her as her true being and has been placed here in a human's body for her to have the experiences that we're all
Yes.
having,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So
yes.
to me, that is part of the egg, because
Right,
her
okay.
stage of consciousness is at that in which she's now having the experiences that are solidifying that, you know, she's still got some journeys to come back here, but a lot less than a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
of
that's
her,
what I'm
because of her amount of awareness,
hoping.
right? And through her progression and her ascension,
Yep.
right? So like, it's like we don't have to live every person's lives, the 8 billion of us, okay? But it means like you have to live as the abuser, as well as you have to live
Oh, yeah.
as the abused,
Yeah,
and not in the same lifetime. And not in the same lifetime. I mean, we're all going to go through in this lifetime. We've all had some abuse, and we've been abusive, et cetera, et cetera. That's this time frame. But in another time frame, we were just evil people that had no thought about anything and were just straight up abuse. And in another timeline, we were the victim that was born into trauma, and then, you know what, was probably at the age of 12 or 13 fed to sharks. And only saw trauma and abuse every day. And once we've lived all of those lives, and then we can understand at the non-molecular level, because molecules are us stuck down here, but in the soul level, which is like energy, electricity, for lack of a better term, that's not connected, right? It's only held here until the body don't work, and then it goes back to being to what it is, which is part of everything. Until we learn all the lessons and become that creator ourselves.
Yep, absolutely. Totally believe that. And the more people I speak to are kind of singing from the same song sheet as well. So it's quite nice. It's like, yeah, you know, there must be something in it if we're all having that little click, click, click sort of thing.
Yeah, because in the Matrix, they said in the movie, do you think it's a coincidence that we've awakened more souls than ever before in this short period of time? And the machines don't know what to do, so they're rounding up all their forces and they're coming with a full frontal attack. So that's what's happening to us on a spiritual level. I know since the full moon, there's been a lot of people suffering right now, and they're really hurting out of nowhere. So here's why, and I believe here's why. So because we're all in tune to the collective, when we pray, for lack of a better term, and we're like really hurting and really, and we're just, we have nothing else but hurt at that moment. And we're like, please take some of this hurt away. I can't do it anymore. Right? Us who are open and we're willing and connected and we're strong at that moment, we've opened ourselves up to take some of their sorrow. So when you don't understand it, you're having this wonderful day, you're down at the beach, you're seeing the sea lions, there's people flying a kite, there's kids building sand castles, and all of a sudden you just feel like crying. And you know that it isn't you, it isn't your sorrow, it isn't your pain. It's you're taking that pain from somebody else that wasn't strong enough to carry it. the same as
Absolutely.
others have done for us in our time of need.
Yes.
So if that can help
Yes.
explain to anyone in the community that's been having a wonderful day and then out of nowhere feels deep sorrow or anger or hatred or any or shame, guilt, any of the lower vibration, know that it's not you. It's not you. You're just doing your part for everyone that needed it, because you are strong enough. It's not a moment of weakness. That's showing you how strong you really are and how connected and caring you are as a human being. It's showing, hey, you know what? I'm here and I'm strong. And if you're weak and you need a hug and I can't be there to hug you, send me your sadness. I'll take of it what I
Yeah.
can.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely. Absolutely. It's like they say, a problem shared is a problem shared is a problem halved. You know, and especially men will not open that they feel crap, and you know, we've touched on this before, that men are brought up to not be weak and don't cry, and you know, so not that I'm saying women don't need it, but I think with yourself and Nick, my last guest, I don't know, I think you were in the chat, I can't remember if you were in with Nick. I just feel that we need to let men know that it's all right to just be like, I feel absolutely shit, you know, because see, tomorrow it's going to be a much better day. Trust me,
Yeah.
I've had a couple of friends lately, who's one of them's just come in the chat right now, and I'm really glad that he's came in the chat at this point, because I think he needs to hear this, that, you know, being positive isn't being happy all the time, right? And us as being like light workers and stuff, you know, people look to us to get the light, to make themselves feel better and stuff like that. But we have those days, and I just feel that a lot of people with the full moon, especially light workers, have really turned in on themselves, and they're really reflecting, but not in a good way, in a way that they're tearing themselves up. So it's really good that you touched on that with the full moon, because I think a lot of people need to hear that just now. I've got a lot of other friends that aren't here, that are in other group chats, that are just, they're lost at the moment, if you know what I mean. They don't have an identity, not like an agenda or anything, but they're just feeling a bit like, what am I doing in life? Where am I in life? And I'm like, tomorrow will be a much better day. And it is.
And
Like,
again, that might not be theirs. It might not be
yes,
theirs. That
yes,
might be
yes,
feelings that are coming
yes,
to them through the
yes,
collective of somebody else that's really hurting, that you might
yes,
not even know. You don't even know their gender or where they are on the planet. Just
yes.
somebody out there is on their knees, or they're crying in the shower, especially men that'll cry in the shower because it's easy to hide, right? Someone
I
comes in
know,
and,
and that
right? Oh, no,
happens
I
to me.
wasn't crying. I was choking on water as I was gargling and, or whatnot.
That
Men,
eats me
guess
up,
what?
Jim.
We're allowed to have more than happy and angry. There's
Yes,
so much more than happy and angry. And
yes.
when you're upset, you don't have to use anger.
No,
You can
no.
clearly, if you clear your mind for a few seconds, a few minutes, maybe an hour is what it takes before you can clearly explain to the people that have maybe caused you to be angry, or for you to do the work yourself to figure out what is it that's angering you. Because 9 out of 10 times, if we're angry about something, it's because somebody's words, actions, behaviors are reflecting something we don't like about ourselves. And
Yeah,
them doing
yeah,
it shows how much that we're like, oh man, they're doing
yeah,
that, and I know I
yeah,
do that,
yeah,
and damn it,
yeah. Yep, exactly,
right?
exactly,
And then what?
exactly.
Then what
That's
happened?
it.
Then
Exactly.
guilt, shame.
Your vibrations just doom, doom, doom.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Here's
absolutely. I've
another
seen
one.
it.
Here's another one for all people, but I think for me it resonated highly. I was so afraid of ego
Mm-hmm.
that I had no pride, because
Okay.
I thought that being proud would inflate my ego. And I'd be like, you know
I
what? All
get
these
that.
people that are telling me I'm an angel, they're right, and all these things. But I think the truth of the matter is, why I was so afraid of ego was because ego has a positive and a negative ego.
Yeah.
And my whole life I was told I wasn't going to amount to anything and I was a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I had to, the negative ego protected me from even a chance of a positive ego,
Yeah.
because I was
Yeah.
afraid of pride and being proud. When, you know what, the truth of the fact is, I'm a really good gardener and I
Yeah.
should be proud of that. And
Absolutely. You
people
should be
say to
proud
me
of a
like,
lot of things.
and And like, I've recently been complimented quite much on my baking. And they're like, bro, you're really a next level baker. And I had to sit
There you
back, and it
go.
brought tears to my eyes when I was by myself, saying like, you know what? You are a fucking good baker.
Yeah, good. Good.
You're a good chef. You're a good
Good.
cook. You have all
Mhm.
these amazing qualities. Why are you ashamed of them? Why are you afraid to hear that you have these good qualities? I'm
Yeah.
not afraid to
No.
tell other people the good qualities I see in them,
Yep, same. Exactly. It's mad
right?
that. Yep.
So when
Yep.
my friends are now validating their appreciation of me as a human being, I can accept it, or I'm learning to. I'm learning to
Yes.
look at it. Oh,
Yeah.
there's my ego instantaneously. I can accept it now. It's fucking hard.
No, I know.
Hard. My
I
friend the other day
resonate with
said,
that.
"You're a really amazing baker," and I almost started crying. And I was
No,
just like,
no, I completely resonate with that because I don't have a lot of self-esteem. I don't have a lot of, I would say I've got a lot more self-love now, but I'm still not confident. I don't take compliments very well at all. I am learning to take them. Um, but like yourself, I get told, "Oh, you're an angel. Oh, you're amazing. You've really helped me today. I don't know what to do without you." And I don't know why. I'm like, like I feel that people are just saying things just to be nice, right? But a lot of close friends are like, no, like they mean it. And what I should do, and I didn't know if this was coming from an ego place or maybe a mental health place, was write down the things that people have said. That when I'm having one of those days, that I'm just like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? I'm not well myself, and then go and reflect on that. But I was like, is that like a little ego massage for me? But I don't think it is because having zero confidence, it's just going to give me a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? I don't
I
want to
do.
come from that ego like, oh, I am amazing. And I think you know me well. And I think the people in the chat, the community know me, and the people that aren't even in the community that know me, I am very not fake. Like what you see is what you get. A spade's a spade with me. I've got the humility to take the piss out of myself. Like I'll have a laugh and a joke. I don't mind making an ass out of myself for other people's like do you know
Right.
what I'm saying? So
Yeah, but I do
sometimes
also know in chats that we've had, you still sometimes use self-abusive self-talk,
yeah, but you
and you'll
taught me
pass it
well.
off as humor, and that's
Yeah,
not okay.
yes,
You're like,
yes,
oh no, it's
yes,
funny, and I'm just like, no, no. Now you're making fun of yourself in an
yes,
abusive manner. That's not okay. But there are definitely times to make ourselves a joke, to bring light and laugh into
yes.
other people's lives.
But you did teach me that though, James, because I'm terrible. Like, say I leave my keys, or say I leave my phone in the house, right? And I'm heading
I'm
at the
such
shops,
an
and
idiot. I forgot my
I go,
purse.
you
I'm such a
stupid,
stupid
absolutely,
person.
you stupid bitch. And I'm like, why are you so, sorry for saying bitch, but why am I so hot? Like, there's no need for that. So what I've started doing now is going, oh, you silly Billy, or you're slightly forgetful today, Zoe.
Yeah,
Just like old chap.
yeah.
Because
Or
and
take
it's so different though, because I don't
right.
have that. Even my face doesn't change. It's just like, oh well. Like nobody died, James. It doesn't matter if I left something. So I learned that from you, and yeah, thanks for that. I'm not perfect, but yeah, I
No,
do
no.
take the mickey out myself quite a lot to,
Well,
yeah, and I
what I
shouldn't do
like to
it
do,
too
if
much.
I say something, because I catch myself very rarely because I've been practicing for a long time, using
Yep.
that negative self-talk when you forget something, right? It's okay if we forgot our keys on the table, or our phone upstairs, or your purse in the car, or any of these things. It's because our mind is obviously subconsciously preoccupied by something that's more important than our phone or our keys, or we were in just such a rush because maybe it was an emergency, like yourself. Maybe your son called and he's like, fuck mom,
Yeah.
I missed the train, or I missed the bus, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Mm-hmm.
there any way you can come get me? And you're just
Mm-hmm.
like, oh shit, it's fucking 1 o'clock in the morning and my child is stuck somewhere. You go into you go
That
into
happens.
parent panic,
Yep.
right? The parent panic moment. It it's it's
Yeah, that
you look at
happens.
it of,
That
okay, so
happens.
karma made you forget your keys. Because if you had just jumped in the car in that panic and drove away, you might have fucking gotten into a car crash.
See, this is what I was just going to say. Like things like that. It's like, oh, if I hadn't left my phone that day, I would have been in that five car collision or hit by that bus. Like,
Yep.
I'm a firm believer in things like that. It's like, wow. You think you're bad, and then you're like, whoa, but if that didn't happen, then this would. And that's what I was saying the other week, that even really bad things have a positive outcome, if you know what I mean. Like it might be 6 months down the line, it might be a year down the line, and you're like, okay, that was bad, but if that didn't happen, then I wouldn't be here. You know,
Yeah.
like even personally, there's been horrific things that have happened in my life, like, you know, like grievances, deaths and stuff. But in a way, if I hadn't gone through such a traumatic time with certain things, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be like trying to help others because I wouldn't have broken. Do you get, like, I was already broken, but that was the ultimate for me. And just, you know, so I'm kind of grateful for what I've been through in a way, without that sounding weird.
No.
You know, it's not that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm so glad I was abused and traumatized, but in a way, if I hadn't gone through so much shit, I wouldn't feel as chilled now. It's
Right.
weird. It's a strange place to be. I have my anxiety days today. Before I was coming on, my heart, and I'm like, why? Like, why? And then my hands were getting it, and I'm like, Zoe, you know, James, it wasn't even you. It was just coming online. I think I've left a little gap between being online, so it's kind of like, what is it they say? Keep riding a bike. You know what I mean? You can get back in it, but I didn't today, and I was like, oh my god, what's wrong with me? But I just breathed. I just took 3 deep breaths, and I was like, you've got this. And then boom, we done our retest, and then everyone was fine, and then we've jumped on. So it's fine. It's just that fear.
Maybe you're misinterpreting your vibration and you're choosing to label it with anxiety.
Yeah,
I've done that.
Excitement.
It's excitement. It's not anxiety at all. That was a positive. It was a positive, high vibration feeling of excitement,
Yeah,
and you were labeling it with your past, with your old programming.
Aye,
Right?
good point.
I had to learn that. Nicole and I were going to Ottawa, and we're pulled off the main highway, and I'm lighting my joint, and I was just like, oh man, I'm getting fucking anxiety. And then I was like, wait a minute. I was like, Nikki, what if it's not anxiety? What if this is excitement and happiness, but I'm calling it anxiety because I chose to use an old memory with something that is linked to the areas in which we're going? Because sure, there's negative emotions triggered in those alleyways. Me and some of those alleys have an intimate relationship from a long time ago.
And you'll know yourself, as soon as your heart goes, it starts that fast pumping, our brain just instantly panic mode or triggered, takes us back. It's not been a positive feeling for us when we felt that years ago. So as you say, we just link it to negativity, as you say, anxiety. And anxiety can be a kind of good thing, so it is more like an excitement. So yeah, it must have been. I mean, do you know what I mean? There's no other reason for me to have felt like that.
No,
and I've picked up on my son's anxiety before, and that was from miles away. I was like, why am I feel like this isn't my anxiety? Heart was pumping in my chest, and I was actually in a taxi, and I was like, whoa, this is weird. So anyway, I came home, and Dylan was just standing there a bit sort of disheveled, and it turned out he'd had a really horrific night, and it was quite traumatic for him, and I just felt it. It was mad. But as soon as I got through the door and he started talking, the anxiety went away, because his anxiety was going away because he was able to talk to me. And that's the most I've ever felt it. But being an empath, being open, being more spiritually open, we do take on a lot of other people's shit as such. Not even that they speak to us, just their aura, their energy field. They can be carrying a lot of stuff. I used to have a lot of friends that would come round and go, oh, I used to feel really crap until I came round, Zoe, and now I feel great. And they're walking out the door, and I'm like, absolutely, like, you know. So I've learned to protect my energy. I've learned, you know, if I'm feeling a bit tired and I don't want to see somebody or go on the phone and have a phone call, just say it. You're not hurting anybody. It's boundaries. That's what I've learned, is boundaries. I had no boundaries, or I did, but I couldn't back them up. People would overstep my boundary. I'd be like, oh, right, yeah, okay, it's fine. Whereas now I'm just like, nah, bye, catch you, block,
You didn't
delete.
have the confidence then, but you're learning the new
Yes.
confidences,
Yeah,
right?
I'm growing a set of bollocks, methinks.
Right. So I'm gonna bring you back to something you had said. You were talking about past traumas and abuses, right?
Yes.
So I'm a strong believer in changing words to help us
Yes.
heal and help us
Okay.
grow.
Okay.
So in chaos is where creation is born,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's replace abuse and trauma with chaos.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Because you said, you're in a sense, you're proud of who you became from that chaos. Because in that
Yeah.
chaos created the new, better version of you.
I like that. Yeah, I like that.
Right. So
Okay.
that can
Yeah.
help. That can help you heal from those chaotic episodes in your life by by leaving the 4D words of trauma and abuse where they belong, down in the 3D world. Don't
I
carry
hate
them in
saying
this
that.
new
I
version
don't
of the
like.
Matrix.
You're right. Yeah, I don't like saying, I've been through
Right.
trauma and abuse. It's like, oh, violins, and I never say things for sympathy. I
No.
have been asked to actually go on somebody else's podcast and talk about my life, right? Like what you are doing, and I'm like, nah, I can't. I'm not. That's maybe in 10 years' time, but at the moment, no, because I feel it leaves you very, very vulnerable, especially being online and the internet. And I wouldn't want to offend any people like that are still alive and stuff like that. I was thinking of actually writing a book. I might just get it all out in a book. Because I have got a good story. I have been through some crazy stuff. And I shouldn't be here statistically. I should definitely not be here. I should, but I'm proud of where I am. This week, the week just passed. I had to go to see a mental health person who just wanted to see how I was and if I was on the right meds and stuff like that. And as I was leaving, he actually put his hand on my arm and he was like, I've read through all your notes, Zoe, and I just want to say, wow, you're doing amazing. And I just burst into tears. But it was like, I couldn't even get my breath. I was like, because to hear somebody say that after sitting reading all the stuff, because I've been the psychiatrist and psychodynamic therapy and stuff like that, and I just felt he meant it. It wasn't, I don't know, I was just really, really touched. And it wasn't like that I was feeling sorry for myself. I felt like it was a big pat on the back. That's what I felt.
And your past doesn't want to hear that. Fear and negativity, right? Fear and negativity, right? They feed the anxiety. They want to hold on to you. That fire of fear wants to be fed so it can hold on to you. But the fire of love is starting to grow inside you and it's getting fed. So, this fire over here wants to steal the oxygen away from that. It's like, how dare you? How dare you feel fucking good about all the hard work you did? Come back to the misery. Come back to the misery. I need you.
No, you're absolutely right, James. And I'm so proud of where I've came. And I'm not an angel, and I'm still learning. And
no,
I've still got
an
a long way
angel.
to go.
You are an angel. Of course you are. But angels aren't perfect either.
Yeah, well, I was going to say,
make mistakes, but angels watch over others. Angels protect others when they can. So you're an angel. So accept it.
Yeah, I will accept it. I will accept it. Yes,
if you accept it on those terms, of, okay, angels aren't perfect, but angels do watch over people and they protect them when they can. And Zoe, that defines you as a human being. So therefore, it's not trying to inflate your ego.
No,
right?
True. Because I tried to do everything from not ego.
By me telling you that, I learned that about myself. Okay, right now in this very moment, I'm learning that about myself. So the next time a person comes and tells me I'm an angel, I'll be able to say, no, I'm not. I'll just be able to say, thank you. And I'll be able to hug them.
Yeah, nice one.
Right? Look, we both grow. We're both growing right now. Synchronized souls. We're growing together as a community, people. All of you that are watching, I love you.
Absolutely.
And you're all angels too. Every fucking one of you.
I absolutely agree, James. Absolutely agree. And on that note, I'm going to go through the comments because I feel like we've totally just. But it's good. Again, I love the chats for you, James. I swear, I love it.
2 seconds, I can hear you. I left a note card that I had. I have to give somebody a shout out.
I didn't hear what he said there, but yeah. Right. Okay. So hi, everybody. Just want to jump on the comments and see who's in the house. Hi Teresa. Oh. Are we still there? Oh my God, my screen froze there. Right, so we've got Crone in the house, we've got Easy E in the house, whoop whoop. We've got Teresa in the house. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Lauren, thank you so much. Craig, you've made it. Good, nice to see you, Craigie boy. Only cans, don't make me sing the theme tune. Don't make me play the theme tune. In fact, we're getting a wee jingle made for us for that show, so that should be fun.
Nice.
So yeah, thank you so much to Crone, Easy E, Lauren, Teresa.
Yes, thank you.
Craig.
Thank you so
Thank you
much
so
for
much.
joining us all here today.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely love it. On the last time that I had you, well, basically I wanted to touch more on what led you here. Sorry, somebody's phoning me, it's okay. What led you here is in the aspect of addiction wise, homeless wise, what's your story? When did you first start becoming a little bit of a naughty lad, shall we say? Teenage
Oh,
life?
let's say I was expelled from, well, my mom had to withdraw me from high school in my first year of grade 10 because I missed like 70 consecutive days of school and there was no way I was going to pass any of my classes. And I came home and she's like, well, this isn't going to work. And on my 16th birthday, she kicked me out of the house. And my brother had already moved in with my father and his wife. And I was like, hey, this is no problem. I'm just going to go down to the welfare office and I'll get welfare. So I go to the welfare office and I make an appointment and I'm sitting at the table and the lady says to me, all the questions. And then she called my mom and says, I have your son here saying that he's not allowed to live at home. And my mom's like, oh, my son can live at home if he doesn't want to sell drugs and hang out with drug dealers and run in gangs and come home at all hours of the morning. And if the door's locked, he'll kick in the basement window. And, he can live at home if he wants to follow the rules. So welfare lady's like, thank you for all your information, and hung up the phone. And welfare lady looked at me and she's like, well, your mom said you're more than welcome to go home if you don't want to. And then listed off all these things. And I was like, oh man, my mom's a rat. I was like, that fucking knock bitch telling welfare I'm running with gangs and all these things. So, I was just like, fuck it, I'm going to go into gang life. Right? Who needs fucking parents?
What was your choice? You had no way to survive.
And I was preyed upon by the gangs because I lived a life. I was bullied my entire life, and I was through some chaos, right? And in that chaos, I became a survivalist, if you will. But I didn't have friends, and I carried myself with my head down and this and that. And then when you're buying drugs, where do you buy drugs? And I lived in the hood, right, in the projects. So you buy drugs from gangs. And when the gang's like, hey man, we always see you by yourself and you're getting beat up by 3 or 4 people, but you fight back and stuff like this, you're a tough fucking guy. You know what I mean? Like, you should roll with us.
Of course,
right?
Of course. And it's like,
then it was just one thing after the other.
A hug that you needed, but it wasn't for obviously the best things. But you needed that. You needed somewhere to be a part of and have somebody have your back. You didn't have that. You didn't have that from home. And that's where I feel gang life, that's why it infiltrates, because there's so many kids that don't have support at home.
And like, don't get me wrong. Like, my mom was a very loving person, but she came from a very chaotic time in life. She was born in the late 40s, so there was a lot of things, a lot of chaos happening to children in those years, and it was just looked aside, right? And she had a brain tumor as well. She had brain cancer, and she had a bunch of cancer surgeries, and so. Like, with all of her trauma and all of those things, like, my mom did the best she could with what she had. Right? Which is what I say. We do what we can when we can, and we do the best with what we have when we have it.
Do you have brothers and sisters, or are you only child?
One brother. I have one older brother. He's 2.5 years older than me. And then my dad's wife has a daughter that's older than both of us, and she's married, and her kids are all fucking grown up. And
Cool. That's not bad. So when did does the gang and party life kind of just link in, and that's you're in the gang, you're just starting to take stuff, and because earlier on I mistakenly thought that it was fentanyl that you had taken, because you'd mentioned to me how many friends you'd lost through overdoses and misadventure and stuff like
Yeah.
that I literally just jumped the gun and assumed.
Yeah.
And when you started telling me your story, I was like, stop, we need to put this on the stream.
Right.
So yeah, I'm just intrigued. Yeah.
I mean, so they say cannabis is the gateway drug. It's not. Cigarettes are, right? So
Totally.
then I smoked cannabis and I stole booze and got drunk. But when I was like 15, I did acid, and I was like, this is great. You know what I mean? I have a disassociation of everything when on LSD. But I was more of a fan of mescaline and PCP for a lot of years until like maybe 18 or 19 years old. I stopped doing those things and just mostly smoked a lot of hash and marijuana and drank a lot until I came across crystal meth. And crystal meth was bad. Like 3 years of like daily meth use. And then how I stopped doing meth is I went to the guy's place where I would buy my meth, and I legit would just buy everything he had because I had to travel far to go and get it, and I wanted all of it. You know, and I guess I like kind of was overbearing on him, and he kept saying that it wasn't that I was a hassle. I was a hassle. And I was like, how am I a hassle to you? And he's like, man, you come and buy all the drugs. And he goes, then I got 40, 50, 60 people all jonesing, calling me, and there's nothing I can do. And so one day I went there to buy some drugs, and he put about a half ounce of crystal meth on the table with a 9mm beside it. And he said, you take this today, and if I see you again, you get this. He's like, you're a big, scary fucking guy. You intimidate me. He's like, man, I'm a fucking skinny little fucking meth dealer, man. What am I supposed to do? He's like, so if I see you coming to my house again, if I see you at my front door through the eye hole, I'm just going to shoot through the fucking door. Don't come back here.
Wow.
You know?
Holy shit, mate.
So then I was like, I better just go and buy a bunch of ecstasy. Because I knew a bunch of people who did ecstasy. So I was like, there's meth and ecstasy. I'll just start doing these.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's nuts, eh?
Well, it's definitely not safe.
No, definitely not. And when was the turning point for you? When did you think this is it? I'm done, you know?
Okay, so my wife, before we were married, just said to me, she's like, if you really love me and want to be with me, you need to stop doing all these fucking drugs. And I was like, okay, but I'm going to have one huge fucking party. And I lived.
Sorry.
I literally lived 2 houses from one of the main streets in our town of 8,000 people. And I threw a rave for 3 days. There was just a big pile of cannabis on the table and like every drug you can think of. And I said, like, I'm doing every one of them. And I was like, and if I wake up after this party, I'm done with drugs. I was like, but I'm legit going to do every drug I can get in the next 3 fucking days. Wow. And I did. And I mean, occasionally I would do a bit of cocaine or a half an ecstasy tablet or this or that when I was at a party. But I instantly would feel shame. And I would just leave the party. And then I'd get messages from people like, man, what happened to you last night? Is everything all right? And I was like, oh, yeah, man, I just wasn't feeling it. I had to go home or whatnot. And I just realized that I was done with it.
Aye. It does. It gets to a point you're just like, no, absolutely.
And like, no judgments on other people. But for me, I just couldn't do it anymore. I was already
there's no fun in it.
Like a suicide, always like suicide fascination because I never felt valuable, right? And like it's not like I would fascinate like, oh, how great it would be if I wasn't here, but I would just like talk myself out of it.
Right. Okay.
Right. And I do still on a daily basis. I talk myself out of it. And not to throw that burden on any of my friends, like, but you know, a lot of people ask me, like, dude, you know, and questions I don't answer. And earlier you said, you know, you talk about transparency, etc. Well, I'm going to be a transparent human being because by being honest to you, anyone who watches this may gain the strength to live today that they might not have had it.
No, I agree. I agree. Totally.
Life is valuable. And I have so many blessings that I get self-abusive when I consider terminating my existence.
No, I listen, honestly, I resonate everything with you, because I wouldn't say it's a daily battle for me, but yeah, there is. I mean, ever since I've been young, I always thought that I was going to jump out a window and that was it. I was just going to die. That's it. Jumping out a window from the age of like 9, 10, I just visualized it all the time. And then obviously as chaos happened, and then there's more reasons to feel less good about yourself.
Yeah.
But like yourself, I feel that when you're a light worker and you're giving out all this light, it's even harder for us, because we're like still feeling that crap. Well, it's not even crap, it's just that like we're done, if you know what I mean, because we're not getting it back as much as we're giving out. Do you get me? And I'm not saying that from friends
Well,
and
that's
stuff,
like you.
just in
That's
general.
like, like Africa is my escape plan.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because I can go to Africa and I can put my life on the line saving others. And you know what? If you get trampled by elephants and eaten by lions, that's not suicide.
Nah,
You know?
totally.
If you if you get into a knife fight with a great white shark off of the shores of the Cape Horn,
True.
that's not suicide. You're just like, you know what? I think I could take a great white on its terms. And you just go for it.
Brilliant. But that's even like the partying thing. It's the whole probably pushing it. Like I had a very high tolerance for things like ecstasy, cocaine and things. Like I just never seemed to really get that high. So my friends would take half a pill, 1 pill, and they're like, and I would be on my fourth, and I'm like, I don't really feel these, or like I'd feel it a little bit. And then it got to the point where I was just taking like 10, and I'm like, if one can kill you, what damage is 10 doing to my body? And I did start thinking like that. And we sat and we took 24 over the space of, I think it was 2 days. We just sat on this mattress in a flat in Muirhouse. And it was like a weekend. I didn't have my son or anything, for anybody's thinking, you were dead your child. I didn't have my son that weekend. So yeah, we just sat, but it was brilliant. It was just me and her in this bubble. We were really safe. And we always talk about it, even to this day. And see, now that would give me the fear. Like, I am not interested in anything that's drugs that keeps me awake. Like, I'm in such a routine for my mental health that I have to have an early night. If I miss one night's sleep, I am set back mentally hugely. So, okay, I've kind of got a safety net around me, and if it does get weaked away, but I need that, James. Do you get me? It's like I'm secure. I'm in my house. I know where my animals are. If I get sort of thrown away from my comfort zone, so drugs and all that, not like, it's just not for me. But I'm going on a retreat, and I'm going to be doing this Amazonian stuff, not the ayahuasca, and it's not Camel. Yes. So I stupidly looked up videos of other people doing it, and I'm like, right, leave your dignity at the door with your bag and your jacket, Zoe. But no, I've came off a lot of medicines, a lot of antidepressants and stuff like that. I'm down to like 2 tablets, one of each one, that I'm really like, I hate being a slave to them. But maybe I do need them because I have had trauma, and I'm an anxious person. It just keeps the edge off it. The chaos. Yes, exactly. I need to get a tattoo across my head. The chaos. Yeah, so I just feel that this Cambo is going to maybe a clean slate for me, if you know what I mean. I have got lymph node problems. I get a lot of like fluid in my legs and stuff. So they say that it's going to help with that. I've told them everything about my past, about my CPTSD, about the tablets and stuff. Do you know what I'm worried about? This sounds crazy. Is 2 things. I've got to drink 2.5 liters of water in 5 minutes. Right now, every video I've watched, everybody's got this bloated belly as they're like taking the Cambo, and I love water. But when somebody asks me or puts me under, drink this water, and that's
so you don't puke your stomach out.
Yeah, no, I get that.
You need to have that liquid in there, because trust me, you're going to puke.
Have you done it? Have you done Cambo?
No, I've had the opportunity, that as well as ayahuasca. But when I did my tribal suspension, it's like the gods told me that my journey is in the rainforest. You know, and that's probably why I always had that
Nice.
connection with Tarzan kind of thing. So
I
it's like
like
I've been
that.
trying to work my finances out. I even said to my friend Nicole, I was like, you know, if I get my finances worked out, do you want to come with me to the rainforest? You know, it was like about
Hey,
5 days
that'd
up
be
a river
amazing.
on a dugout canoe. We're gonna go find the medicine
Hey.
man that wears
Yep,
fucking leaves, and they're
yep,
gonna fucking
yep.
Cambo frog me, and I'm gonna drink
Hmm.
the ayahuasca.
Oh, I'm doing an eye drop thing as well. Have you heard about that? Um, I'm going to guess the word. It's like saranga, and it's an eye drop. And what they used to use it in the Amazon, they use it for if they're going into war and stuff, so that it gives them visual, clear vision. But it's meant to sting like a for 15 to 30 minutes, and then basically you're all right. And then I've got this hat. Is it happy or rappy? And it gets right up my nose. So it's like three things that I'm getting done in one day. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God. But there's no psychoactive stuff. So I don't want to do ayahuasca. I honestly I don't know why. It's so weird. Like I have a block with tarot cards and have a block with ayahuasca. I feel I've done the work that ayahuasca would show me. I know my demons. I know the chaos. I know the chaos that I need to work on. So I don't need that. Do you get me? I feel that ayahuasca is for people that are not really spiritually awake, but they want to be. So they need that little boot up the ass sort of thing.
Okay, so
Um,
medicine men use the ayahuasca so the gods can talk to them.
yeah. Well, the mother's meant to come. Everybody I've spoke to has had an amazing experience, and they say that Mother Earth basically comes, Pachamama, and you, Nick Thwaites that I had on from Sober Yetis, that's how he started his journey because he'd done all this, the big ceremony over the full weekend.
Yeah.
And the difference from 6 months before that, sitting taking coke and in the madness. So you call it chaos, and when it's party style and the cocaine, I call it the madness. Like you call it the chaos. That's like the madness. And I feel he was caught up in it, and he's done his wee ayahuasca thing, and I see such a difference. Like it's life changing that stuff, but I feel I've done that life changing bit. Do you
Have you
get me?
ever
Because
have you ever smoked diviner sage?
no, but Dylan's dad brought something in a pipe one day, right? I have to tell you this. I was sitting with my mum and my auntie, and Dylan must have been about 2, but he was having a nap. So Dylan's dad's came in and he's like, "Oh, I've got this. I think he said it was weed. He was like, really strong weed. Like, do you want to be on that? Okay. Oh my God, was it salvia or something?
Salvia divinarum.
Right,
Yeah, that's
so
diviner
perfect. Like,
sage.
oh, right, weed, woo. Oh my God. So the clock that was up on the left hand side of the room swung round to the right hand side. The whole room went in, and I was just like, whoa. If he told me you're going to be fried for 5 minutes, just sit back and enjoy it, I think I would have enjoyed it. But the fact that I didn't know what was going on, I was just like, what is that? I did not enjoy that. That was like the last time I ever took anything psychoactively, and I think that freaked me out a wee bit. But then I took magic mushrooms with in lockdown. I took them once, and that was all right. Not enough to be zoning out. Like the couch was breathing, the table was moving.
Yeah.
The only person that popped into my mind was Bill Gates, of all people.
Of
I'm
all
having all these
people.
mandalas and fractals, and then there's just wee mini Bill Gates, and I was like, Bill Gates. But it was the height, it was lockdown. So if you can imagine, I don't have a TV, but if you can imagine, like it was just all that stuff and all the channels I've been watching. But yeah, that's the last thing that I've had with any psychoactive stuff. But I'm really looking forward to this retreat. It's a huge
Good.
thing for me to go and spend like more than 24 hours with people I've never met. I've got to sleep in a dorm with other people that I don't know either, and I'm dreading that because I snore, but it's fine. I'm going to take my earplugs as well. So yeah, but it'll be fine. I'm like
Yeah.
totally overthinking it. I keep doing worst case scenarios. What if this happens? What if that happens?
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
No,
Nothing's going to happen. It's all going to be fine.
you know, the fear of the fact of you're going to be in a very vulnerable state. And with
Yes, I
your
think.
past, you have fear
Yes.
attached to being vulnerable,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Absolutely.
there's a quote from the Vikings that says, you know, true strength is being able to show yourself when you're at your most vulnerable state.
Yes. But I would need to be with people that I trust. And that's why, like, I need to be somewhere like honestly, wait till you see it. It's absolutely stunning. It's just in the middle of a forest and there's trees and oh, honestly, I can't wait. I'm going to be hugging trees all afternoon, I tell you.
Hippie, tree hugging hippie.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I used to slag people. I used to be, oh my God, hug a tree. But now that I've done it, like, it actually works. As soon as you hug a tree, you're just boom, grounded.
Yeah.
It's like a lead suit gets put on you. And I absolutely love it. Best thing I've ever done. And it was my Reiki master Kath with the curly hair, the coloured hair that you liked last time. She taught me to do that.
Nice.
So yeah, after you're partying and that last night of madness, which you survived, thank God, was that it? You just stopped?
Well, yeah, and then like not long after that, I got arrested for production of marijuana without a license with the intent to distribute.
Oh, balls.
And then I became homeless again because I couldn't afford to pay rent. I moved to my aunt's summer place that was just like a trailer, like a caravan kind of thing. It had no running water. There was a old fucking pump handle well outside and outside toilet. Come December, my buddy's like, man, you can't live out there no more. My wife and I weren't married yet. She moved back to her parents' house after I got arrested. And so I moved into my buddy's garage that had no running water, no bathroom, none of those fucking things. Until I went to court for sentencing. The day that I got sentenced was the day my wife signed the lease for the house that I'm living in now.
Oh, right, okay. Wow. How long did you get sentenced for?
I got 6 months house arrest, 6 months conditional sentencing, and a year of probation. That if I got in any trouble for anything, I was going to jail, prison. Because I demanded prison, not jail. I was like, you send me to a fucking federal penitentiary if you're getting jail. I was like, if you want prison time, because I was like, I ain't going to fucking jail. You go to jail, it's full of all these gangbanger punks that are trying to make a name for themselves and all this shit. When you get out, you have probation, and you got to live in a halfway house and all that shit. I was like, fuck that. You send my ass to a federal prison so I can do my 2 years and I get out. There's no probation, no halfway house. You're done. So,
wow, that's different.
You
so
know,
you
my
guys
lawyer
have
was pretty good.
a prison and a jail, which is two different things.
Yeah.
Well,
a jail is for like people that get less than 2 years.
Oh, okay, like short sentences, basically. And yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So yeah, the bad guys would be in the prison. That they're like the big murderers and like for the big sentences, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
And like, I would rather do time with people that are doing life than guys that are getting out in 6 months that are going to be back every 6 months. They're just, jail is like in and out until you've been charged and gone to jail so many times. They're like, fuck this, you're going to prison.
Exactly.
You know, so like right off the get-go, the Crown knew I wasn't fucking around. My mom's brother, John, is a chemical engineer, and he lived in Holland. And I said straight up, like, you guys get me prison or, well, house arrest first. I was like, if house arrest don't work, I was like, I want to go to prison. And I was like, because if they try to send me to jail, I said, I am going to go to Europe and I ain't coming back.
Okay. Wow.
Right? I was like, I will fucking, Amsterdam doesn't even have people looking for people that aren't supposed to be there. I can just go get a job in a fucking kitchen somewhere, just keep paying my fucking bills and live like a citizen, and I would have been fine. So I guess the Crown straight up was like, whoa, this guy's not fucking around. They're like, house arrest or prison. Well, we can't send him to prison for some cannabis fucking plants. So I guess we'll let him have the fucking house arrest, right? I took their deal. They dropped all my fiance's charges. They fucking dropped a bunch of my charges because they stack them, right?
Okay, of course.
But I collected the big ones. I was like, yep, you got me. Production of marijuana with the intent to distribute. But you couldn't catch me distributing it, fuckers.
Exactly. How can you prove that? Exactly. You can't prove that. Unless you've got all the stuff set up, of course.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, they got me with like light systems, 41 mature plants still, like a bunch of dry weed, a bunch of honey oil.
Personal use.
Yeah.
You know?
Also didn't help. Like I was an activist on Parliament Hill at our nation's capital for the Supreme Court for Terry Parker and Momo Levine when medicinal marijuana stuff first started happening. Like I was at a lot of rallies with organizers. I knew at the time the leader of the federal marijuana party that's run out of Quebec. So, I mean, like the judge straight up when the Crown took the deal, she looked at me and she says, "Mr. Collins, I have a feeling that you've gotten away with a lot of stuff in your lifetime," which is unfair for her to judge.
No, absolutely
she was right.
not.
She was right. But I mean, it's not like I was a burglar. I didn't go robbing people, right? I sold drugs.
Yeah, but I don't even class marijuana as drugs.
No, but I mean, I sold other drugs too when I was younger.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
So like, yeah, she in a sense was right. I'd gotten away with a lot of stuff in my lifetime, and she's like, and it looks here that your lawyer was able to make a pretty good deal with the Crown, which I am willing to accept because she has to accept it, right? Or she doesn't have to accept it. She could say nope and give me something completely fucking different.
Right.
But she accepted it on the grounds. She said to me, she's like, "But Mr. Collins, I want you to hear this very clearly. If I ever see you in my courtroom again, under any circumstances, because you're in trouble, I will do everything I can to put you in prison, which is where you want to be, it seems, for as long as I can."
Wow.
And I took that with whatever they say, a grain of salt. I was like, "You got this one, lady. Trust me, I ain't coming back here." I didn't grow my own weed in my own house until it became completely legal here. I would go and help other people set up their legit legal grow rooms as long as it was 100% fucking legal. I want to see their Health Canada paperwork, and I want to with their address on it before I'm going into that grow room. I was
so even though it's like legal, you still need to like have like a license to do it as such. So you can't just be in a house and go, right, I'm going to make a crop.
Everyone in Canada has the right to grow 4 plants per household, whether it be inside or outside.
Okay.
Right, but my medical license was to grow. I'd have to look at my paperwork, but like for 179 plants inside, or 40 some outside.
Wow, and then
which
obviously
I always choose to grow inside.
So basically, if you're doing that and you have the license, you'll have to pay tax on your earnings and stuff, won't you?
I had to pay tax on my electricity and all the nutrients and stuff that I use to grow it. And even though it's a prescription, I can't use that on my taxes and be like, "Well, my electricity bill went up $400 a month for a year." Oh, it was like, a little over $400 a month.
Jeez. And that's because obviously the equipment that you're using and stuff like that. Yeah, people forget about that. There's a lot of equipment.
You want to make it like the sun. You can't just use run-of-the-mill lights from whatever Rona house store.
Yeah, exactly. It's big operations. Only because I've seen it on the TV, when the police like bust these places and like they've always got these big like rooms full of them. I'm like, oh, that's how you do it. That's interesting, isn't it? So, see, when you go to Ottawa, is that like where you go and give out all your stuff? And is it like, that place that you're in? It's like a blue. Is that like a wee cafe that you rent or something when you're giving out your stuff inside?
Oh, that was above when I was doing some of the collab work, that was above a store that's right downtown in the market.
Right. Or otherwise, are you just in the street doing it? Do you just
and we've gone back to that. It's so much better for us to be out on the street doing one-on-ones. Other than like coming up next week, there's a person that I met through one of the collabs that I was doing, and she is a young university student from Carleton University.
Nice.
Her name is Kayla, and she started the Solidarity Alliance of People Who Use Drugs.
Wow.
And they've got a pretty good mission statement. I didn't have time to write it all down, but she goes out and distributes Narcan kits, which is if someone's ODing, you can give them the Narcan. And she gives out clean meth pipes and clean needles. And
that's funny. That was my next question. Actually, was what is there things like that in place? Is that charity based or is that government based? Like,
Okay,
have you?
there is a safe injection site in Ottawa, but I mean it only holds 4 people. So there's
Wow.
people in the alleyway outside shooting up, waiting for their turn. And at least if they OD right there, somebody can find them at least, right?
That's
But
so
on
sad,
top of
isn't
that,
it?
Kayla and her group also distribute fentanyl testing strips so that
Yeah.
the addicts can test their drugs.
Yep. Yeah. I was saying that to Easy earlier on. I was like, what do they put in practice to try and stop all this fentanyl? Because I didn't know where fentanyl came from. I hadn't even heard of fentanyl until probably about 2-3 years ago. It was like a Vice document or
Yep.
something like that. And ever since I watched that, I've realized how huge it is. Now, I don't think it's really hit the UK near as what it's like in the US and Canada and whatever, but I have heard of some people kind of dabbling as such, but nothing on par. And I did wonder, like the government or whoever is like charities and stuff, what can you do to stop? And I said testing kits. Because isn't it true that fentanyl can be like, is it I don't know much about it. Is it like a mega strong, or sometimes it can be weaker? Is there different batches?
Yeah, there's like
Like,
fentanyl or something like that, and then
right,
regular
okay.
fentanyl. I mean,
Wow,
but what's the
okay.
really dangerous thing? What worries me is, so like Philadelphia is generally a big testing ground for like in the Kensington area for these new drugs for the
Okay.
dealers to figure out what's killing people, what isn't, so they can get their fucking bullshit all fixed up. They've been mixing a potent animal tranquilizer in
Mm-hmm.
with the heroin and in
Okay.
with the fentanyl, and they're calling it trank. And legit, it's
Wow.
causing people's bodies to rot from the inside out. And it doesn't show up on the test kits. And like this has been happening in Kensington the last couple of months, anyways. And people are dropping off
Wow.
and dying. Like, and Narcan doesn't work. Right. So if
Wow.
it's an OD from fentanyl or opioids, they give them Narcan and they
Yeah.
sit up and everything's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But with the trank, they give them the Narcan and they sit up and then they just fall right back because,
Right. Wow.
and there's nothing they can do to counteract the animal tranquilizer that's being put into this stuff. And like legit, people are going to fucking die from this
That's
all
horrific.
over the fucking world because once they figure out how to use it,
Mm-hmm.
and once they figure out how to make this stuff in large batches and distribute it, trust me, it's going to be going global.
Mm-hmm. That's horrific. I think
Yeah.
I've seen a documentary on that. I think it was actually in Poland, or somewhere, and they were using stuff, and it was eating away their skin. Not just their skin, their whole bicep or whatever muscle that is. It was like eating away and like big holes, but they just kept taking it and kept taking it to numb the pain,
Yep.
and then and you're, as you say, it's like literally getting eaten away. And I think that it was something like, it was like crank, but you're saying trank, but I'm thinking it was called crank or something. So
Yeah.
must have been the same thing. That's scary stuff. And I'm sure it was made with like 3 household components and it was dead simple to make. And that's what the worrying thing is. Like you say, once people work out how to make it, and then
Yeah.
that's them, they're off. It's anything
Well,
for
the
a quick
U.S.,
buck.
the videos, the research that I was doing on it, the U.S. said, the police or whoever they talked to said the biggest problem is we can't identify the source of where the trank part is coming from.
Mhm.
And it's just like the same place all the ketamine is coming from. You order
Right.
it online from fucking pharmacies in India
Yeah.
and Pakistan that don't give a fuck. They're like,
Like,
oh, you want 5 gallons of ketamine? What's your address?
Exactly. And the dark web and stuff like that, it's really accessible, very easy to get. I know there's people around here that have got stuff on the dark web. I mean, that just petrifies me. I'm just like, no. But they're like, no, you get really good like cocaine and stuff. I'm just like, wow. It's
Yeah.
scary. Anything, you can get anything really if you want to.
Yeah, we need to stop the war on drugs and start the war on human trafficking, like the fucking Sean
Absolutely.
Atwood has said. You know,
Yeah.
if you make all the drugs legal, trust me, my friends that don't smoke crack and don't smoke heroin and don't shoot up, that are guys and girls that drink wine and beer on their weekends, or even if after work on the weekday. Who gives a fuck? They're not hurting anybody. Their bills are paid. Their kids are well fed, etc. And their kids aren't doing without. They're not going to be like, hey, you know what? Crack is legal now. I say, I've heard a lot of great crack stories. Let's go down and get some of this crack.
Totally.
Nobody is going to be like, hey, man, shit, want to get beer? Let's go try fucking heroin Tuesday.
Yeah.
You know, it's Wednesday night. It's win night. Let's go get some beer, some wings, some pizza, and some fucking heroin.
Exactly.
No one's going to do that.
I know.
But at least the people that are using those drugs could get access to clean drugs in a safe environment. And you'll get your tax money, because trust me, addicts get $400 or $500 a day on the streets, panhandling, selling drugs, selling their body in order to feed their addictions.
Everything. Yep, absolutely. Some people have got hundreds, up to £1,000 of a day habit. And, you know, they've got to fund it, shoplifting, prostitution, whatever, anything. And you know yourself when it's an addiction, it's not you. You'll do anything. You know what I mean? How bad your addiction is, you're going to do anything. And funnily enough, when you're talking about, what did you say, stop the war on drugs and start the war on human trafficking? Show me one addict that hasn't had any chaos in their life. You will not find one. So to me, stop the war on drugs and put money into mental health units, more education at school, like more support for like the youths, the people that are going through the trauma. And, you know, I mean, that you could affect anybody. But I just feel that that's where we need to aim for, is definitely mental health units, or more support for people that have had accidents and have had to have opioids for long term. There was somebody on another chat who said that their mum was feeling really poorly. She'd really lost her chat and everything. And I asked what medication she was on, and he was telling me. And he said, but they've taken the morphine patches away. And I went, that's what's wrong with her. And he was like, what? I went, if she's been on morphine, which is an opiate-based drug, for 30 years or something like that, and they've suddenly taken that away from her, she's literally sitting withdrawing. And he completely, I'm not like personally, but I know about all that. So he was like, wow. And literally, he's an amazing soul. He thanked me so much, because he went to the GP, he got re-prescribed the morphine patches for his mum. Within a day, back to herself, having a chat, because your brain does wire differently when you're having opiates and you're taking them daily and stuff like that. And I felt that myself when I came off the codeine. It was like I was flat. It's not even a depression, because I don't even think I could have felt depression. I was just nothing in me. And that's because of
opioids don't fight pain.
No.
Opioids light up the feel-good center of your brain. That's why it's so addictive.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
They're not an effective painkiller at all whatsoever, and Big Farm knows that.
Easy saying Vancouver Skid Row is a heart walk. Oh, I watched the documentary on it yesterday.
Hastings, man. My friend is out on Hastings, and we're legit. You know, we pray for him every day that we're not getting a phone call or a message saying that, you know, he didn't make it through yesterday or whatnot.
Yeah, totally. Unfortunately, I've got a friend in the ICU at the moment. And through self-abuse, shall we say, he's very poorly. It was very touch and go on Monday there. I think that's why I've not really been online much and stuff, you know. I've just really been concentrating on him, and I just keep picturing him happy, healthy. The worst thing you can do when somebody's ill is imagine them like in their hospital bed with the tubes and all that. Oops. Best thing to do is imagine them happy, keep that positivity going. And he actually pulled through the worst 48 hours at first, but it's so hard. Like you say, it was that waiting, checking my phone constantly, like kind of just waiting, you know. So it is hard, and it comes from any walk of life addiction. That's what I realised, that it can affect you at any point. Never say never, because anything can happen. And I don't judge drug dependent people. I really don't.
Definitely not.
I've stopped calling that, like in Scotland, obviously we say like junkie. I don't use that word anymore. I refuse to use the word junkie, because it's really derogatory. I need to pick up my pen, 2 seconds. Oh, Sorry, it's for my tablets. I need it. I'm such a fidget that I just sit and play with things and then I chuck things away. And honestly, and the psychiatrist said I don't have ADHD. So I was like, "Are you sure?" He's like, "Yes, I've had been re-diagnosed, so I don't have borderline personality disorder, which is awesome to hear. It's just a chronic case of complex PTSD." He said, "You're on par with like a war veteran." He said, "Your hypervigilance," I didn't even know what that was. He was like, "Your hypervigilance is 24/7. You don't switch off from that. Like I was saying last time, wee noises, everything like that." So in a way, I feel a lot more relieved that I don't have borderline personality disorder, but I'm now getting trauma therapy and I'm going to get it for 12 months rather than 6 months because the
Yep.
last psychiatrist said she needs more help.
Right.
Oh, bye.
Right. Because
But I see
you're
it as a
not broken.
positive thing.
You're not broken.
No, I'm not broken. I'm just a little bit shattered. Not quite broke, just a little bit.
Man, a
You know?
couple of those pieces got broken out, but you're getting sent to those fancy workers that melt gold into the teacup to make you more beautiful than you ever were
Yes.
before. A better
Yes.
version of yourself. You're going to upgrade.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's all I see now is just onwards and upwards.
Yep.
That's all I can see. But I have to, like I said, I can't go out and have a late night. I just don't want to set myself back by messing things up. Do you know what I mean? So I just need to keep going in my lane, keep spreading my light, recognizing when I'm tired. I said this last time because I'm very harsh on myself. And like you say, I notice it. I'll be like 20 miles an hour, and then suddenly I'm like, boom. And now I'm beginning to wonder, is that somebody else's energy that I'm picking up on? Because I was
Very
fine
much
until
could be so. It very much could be so.
because I've always put it down to mental health, but now I'm thinking, oh, maybe it's just I'm picking up on stuff, I don't know. But I'm still going to keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. Just live in the true, authentic vibration of yourself. And try your best to just let it go.
I literally, that's the thing though. I thought I'd let everything go. And then remember I said I'd done a really deep Reiki session on myself and I got taken. It was like I feel the universe was like, you think you're sorted? No, we're going to show you the last thing that you really need to work on, Zoe. And it is a major thing. So, and it makes all sense with lack of self-esteem, self-love, like just everything. So in a way, I was really grateful for that. It just took me to a place of horrible thinking and, just a horrible place. But I'm out there. As I say, the next day was much better, more positive. Being positive isn't being happy. It's knowing that things will get better.
Yep.
We don't have to be happy and hyper. We can be lying in bed going, feeling shit today. But I know tomorrow's going to be better.
Or 5 minutes from now, or 10 minutes from now, or a week from now.
Yep. And like good friend Craig said, there's no such thing as a bad day. It's just you might have had an hour of crap or a bad phone call or, a little bit of bad news, but it's not a bad day. Don't label your day as that was a bad day, because I just feel like that just totally negativizes like your whole day. So yeah, I'm starting to change the way that I speak. I'm trying not to swear as much, but that's the Scottish girl in me. And
So
obviously, when I'm like more relaxed, I'm like really bad. But no, I'm trying and to be a lot nicer to myself. And that was you that taught me that, James. Definitely, I noticed more how bad I was for speaking down to myself. And that's terrible.
It's so much more abusive for you to tell yourself you're a stupid idiot than for your partner or your kid or your parent. And you just, and I don't mean you, people just don't realize it.
But I've done it for years. I've done it and I hear my mum doing it. I hear friends doing it. And I'm like, stop being harsh. Like, don't be nasty to yourself. Because we wouldn't speak to anybody else like that. So why do we speak to ourselves like that? It's crazy. It's totally retraining your brain, though. That's the way to go. It's just making those tiny wee changes throughout the day to little things, your behaviours, your language, just the way you look at things. And then within like a couple of weeks, it's just second nature. And it's just, that's what I feel. You can retrain your brain for anything. Absolutely
21 days. 21 days to learn a new habit.
Yeah, that's right. And is it 21 days to break a habit as well?
I guess depending on the habit. I think some habits are situational.
Within reason, I suppose. Yeah,
But
no, totally.
it takes 21 days to program a habit into our brain.
Yeah, yeah,
Scientifically proven,
yeah.
right?
I like
So
that.
you
Yeah.
just start with the small steps for
Mm-hmm.
21 days at a time, and then
Mm-hmm.
go to the next one, and we'll all learn and grow together.
Yep.
I'm learning, I'm growing. Like, I've got some really great people that will call me on my fucking shit. Like, if I'm having a bad day, depending on what kind of bad day it is, they'll be like, holy fuck, get over yourself, right? Because
True.
they love me. And they're like, dude, what's up with the pity
Mhm.
party? Like, fuck off.
And
You
that's
know?
good friends. That's good, true friends that can be like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then there's other times where it might be a bit of a pity party, but there was something deeper behind
Yep.
that. And
Yep.
and the pity party is just kind of allowing it to happen.
Yep.
And I've got a good friend that will see past that and be like, look, man, I get that you're hurting
Uh-huh.
and it's okay. And it's not that
Absolutely.
we don't we don't necessarily need validation from other people, or at least we shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
But it helps us grow and helps us feel less sorrow when we
Mm-hmm.
actually feel understood by a human being. And through
Yes.
their understanding, we get self-validation.
Yes. Yes. No,
And it's
yeah,
hard to
I've said that.
validate our own selves if we don't know if other people are experiencing or have experienced it or have
Mm-hmm.
heard about somebody experiencing it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So
I like that. I like
Marcus
that.
Aurelius says there is no good and bad in nature. And
No.
everything is nature. So
Mm-hmm.
is it
Mm-hmm.
bad? Or is there actually something good that's learned from something that we call bad? So
Bad.
something we call
True.
bad
True.
happens, and then we learn something really, really good,
Mm-hmm.
and it completely outweighs the badness. But we
Mm-hmm.
don't want to do that. We want to hold on to the badness of it. We don't want to be right.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
in that point, if we want to listen to the ancient Stoics
Mm-hmm.
and not feel bad about it and allow the positive that came from that experience,
Mm-hmm.
rather than calling it a bad experience, just calling
Mm-hmm.
it an experience because that's all it was, and we're
True.
choosing to label it. So
Mm-hmm.
then we gained all this amazing knowledge from that thing. So
Mm-hmm.
why can't we go with that? Because
I
that's
know.
how we learn and that's how we grow,
Mm-hmm.
is by saying, you know what? Oh, it was me that labeled this good or bad rather than
Yep.
just calling it what it was, an experience. And
Mm-hmm.
through experience, we gain knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
We either gain knowledge on how to do something or how not to do something.
Mm-hmm.
There is no
Totally agree.
wrongs in it, but we keep putting a wrong to it because our negative ego, the fear that's inside us, that's from the chaos we've been through, doesn't want us to have self-acceptance and happiness and feeling loved by creation and source. But
Mm-hmm.
we can give it to ourselves by using those techniques.
Absolutely. And I think that's because we're all just programmed like that through everything, media, school, the way we've been brought up. We're not taught to love ourselves. We're taught to hate on your work harder, do this, push on, rah,
Yeah.
rah, rah, rah. There's no like be easy on yourself, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. We're not taught any of that, and that I see an agenda. That's an agenda for me, indoctrination, and like that's another podcast.
Yeah,
It's a whole
so
new different
that's what
podcast.
we got to that's what we have to teach people. Stop labeling experiences with positive and negatives.
Yes,
It's just
yes,
an experience, so
yeah.
call it
Just
what it is.
aye,
It's like your
aye.
anxiety or happy vibration that's in your chest. Stop labeling it for those things with they
No,
come with
totally.
positive or negative, because there
Mhm,
is no positive and negative in nature.
mhm,
Just know that I have this vibration up here. Ooh, I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing right now.
like with the electric scooter, and obviously I'm just the one that I'm using isn't mine. I'm borrowing it, right? So my mum offered to get me a new one, so we've ordered it. And Saturday night, I lay in my bed and all night. My heart was racing, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to get pulled by the police. I'm going to get caught on the pavement, or something stupid's going to happen. And like fear, 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 fear. And it was like, where does this come from? But do you know what? It wasn't fear. It was actually excitement.
Yeah.
Because I was like, why? Sorry, my bunny made a funny noise. I was like, why am I so anxious? I should be excited. So there you go.
Yeah.
I just put that whole heartbeat, negative, negative, negative. Whereas I need to actually take a minute and be like, what are you feeling here, Zoe?
Yeah.
Because anxiety is hot. You know, you get the tightness in your stomach, you get the sick feeling, you get whatever. But yeah, I think I've just answered one question that wasn't anxiety. And
Yeah,
I said
because
that
you
to
know what?
Caesar.
People get those exact same vibrations and feelings when they see somebody that they're like instantly attracted to. They get
Yes.
those same feelings when they're going on a roller coaster ride.
Yes.
They get
Yes.
those same feelings if they don't like heights and they're driving across a bridge,
Yeah.
right?
True.
So
True.
then we choose to label them with a positive or a negative rather than just calling them what they are, which is a vibration, which is
Yeah.
part of the reason in which why we were created, is which to feel all levels of vibration because we can't feel them in any other form. We can
True.
only feel them in the human form. Part of the reason why humans were created was to feel the things that our exterior God beings cannot feel. So we should embrace every one of them. And it's
That's
hard
cool.
to
I like
embrace.
that.
It's hard to embrace sadness when like our pet dies. It's hard
Yeah.
to embrace that. But you know what? It's a reflection of how much we loved,
Yes. Yes.
right?
Agreed.
It's a
Agreed.
complete. It's like the mirrored reflection of I
Yeah.
love this much, and then uh, the sense of loss hurts as much as we loved.
Yeah. Because it does. It
Like
hurts.
you would do
Exactly.
anything to get your bunny one more treat,
Yep.
kind of thing,
Yeah.
right?
Totally.
And you would give anything to have the bunny back when the bunny's no longer there. So you would do anything to give it one pet when you just see it over there and you're like, oh, he's so cute, and you're just like, whatever you do, you're just kissing, you're like, these bitches, I'm gonna go pet my bunny, kind of thing, right?
Totally. Totally.
So
Absolutely.
I think that's what we need to really do. Like even with our human companions, when we're so heartbroken and sad when they're no longer physically with us, embrace that you actually were allowing yourself to love that much.
True. True.
Right?
Because I'm not being funny, and it's funny when you say the pet dying, because I could not believe how much it affected me, my cat dying last year. Like, that destroyed me. I was not prepared for it, did not think we were going to go to the vet and get put down, and I'm not being here. And I cried for like weeks, James, and I couldn't even mention his name. And it was like you say, it's just made me realize it's because I loved him so much. Like he was just my wee homie as such. He'd been through everything. We'd been through temporary accommodation, breakups, violence, the lot. And it was like, you never left me. You never left me. But like you say, yeah, I do. I look at death completely different now because I feel that we're not selfish, but see when somebody dies and they was like, oh, this pet, and I'm like, but they're all right. They're away. They're on the Rainbow Bridge, mate. They're going into their next soul. It's us putting emotion on ourselves. Do you get what I mean?
Yep.
So it's like if you want to be really, really upset, then you're kind of putting that on yourself. If you know what I mean?
Yeah. But it's the process of grieving from what we've learned.
That's hard.
From what we've learned, because that's kids wouldn't be crying at funerals if everybody else wasn't crying at funerals.
No,
If
exactly.
everyone was playing music and giving hugs and high fives and pats on the back and cheering and eating all the good food, kids would be having a good time. And they'd be dancing and enjoying their little sippy cups and all that fucking stuff that kids do.
Celebrating life. Basically celebrating life rather than mourning a death.
That's right.
Yeah. And that's the way it should be. Getting a good
And it's okay to
send-off and
cry.
high
It's
spirits.
definitely okay to cry in sadness that we don't have our homeboy here, our homegirl here, or our brother or sister or cousin or mom or any of those things.
I've got a wee question for you. It's just popped up. What is James's views on some cults forming through all the massive fear porn caused by mainstream media? and majorly left or right wing. Is this
Well,
in Canada? Because we were looking this up earlier on, weren't we, Easy?
what is
James's view on
James's
some.
views on some cults forming through all of the fear porn caused by MSM? I don't know what
Like,
MSM is.
mainstream media.
Oh, right. I don't watch mainstream media.
Yeah,
So
true. You're like me.
I think, but though, as it comes, isn't it saying and majority left or right wing? It's funny. I messaged Nicole this morning about that. I watch a channel of these guys, and they talk about a lot of topics.
Mm-hmm.
I agree 100% with 50% of what they say.
Mm-hmm.
The other 50%, I don't agree with it. Does that put me on the left or put me on the right? We got to stop devising with left and right because that's what mainstream media is. It's left or right, right? Even Rebel News and all of these things, they're left or right. I don't know. Vice used to be a really good channel. I don't watch too much of it,
Not
but
anymore.
they had some really good mini documentaries by like
Yeah, but
independent
they went,
creators back in the day, at least.
yeah,
But
ages ago, but they've went mainstream narrative now. Like, I
right.
feel they're not as abstract or as, like, risque anymore. It's just all part of the narrative and the agenda now. I find
Right.
right
So
on
like my
right.
subconscious probably picked up on that, why I haven't watched it in a long time.
There you
Right.
go. Yeah,
Because
totally.
I actively, like, I don't know, I watch a lot of cooking shows and a
Good.
lot of because
Nice.
I want to see how what camera angles they're using that I might
Oh,
like,
yeah.
or
Nice,
how they're
nice.
presenting things. Because, like, man, I'm no professional. I'm edited on a
No,
phone. Only learned how to do
you're
that in the
doing
last little
so
bit,
good.
right?
You're
But
doing so good.
I got a passion for it. So I watch a lot of that. And then I watch some dark content, but I don't watch any certain types of dark content because I've watched enough about it. I understand it's out there so that I can project energy against them without having to continually research it, which could
Yes,
further cause some chaos in my life.
absolutely.
Right. But
Absolutely.
there are other dark topics that I research that are in a completely different rabbit hole. It might be
Yeah,
a wombat hole. I don't know. I've been
yeah.
watching a lot of Australia shit recently, and they got
Nice.
wombats, and they're a marsupial that lives in a hole. So,
Nice. I
you
like
know,
that. I like that.
sometimes
That's brilliant.
if you're just stuck down where's my camera? If you're stuck down a rabbit hole, get out of the rabbit hole. Find yourself a good wombat hole and crawl yourself down in there. You never know what you're gonna find.
It's unbelievable. It's easy to get soaked in. It's easy to it just be your constant stream of your. And I was terrible for it. I was obsessed, video after video, or adrenochrome of this, that. Just absolutely obsessed, and it does take its toll because it's darkness.
Yeah.
I wasn't even watching a cat video, and it really takes its toll. My vibes were so low, I couldn't be bothered doing anything. My motivation was gone. All I wanted to do was, funnily enough, go back and watch more videos. So it's like it had a hook on me. I mean, that's also a trait of PTSD, is getting quite obsessive about things that like researching and stuff, things that interest me. So I
Do
really,
you ever watch epic fail videos?
yes, love them.
Okay, so look, I'm gonna bring that to a whole new level. I was a skateboarder when I was younger. Have a lot of friends that were skateboarders. Stop watching epic fails, people. Watch epic wins. Watch that skateboarder on that 10 stair. Watch him trying to kickflip that 10 stair, and he doesn't, and he doesn't. You get to see all your fails, but then you get to see him do it, and how much hard work these young kids are out there putting in. Or I was watching downhill unicycling, these crazy people in the mountains of British Columbia on trees that have fallen over that most people are using like $5,000 bikes, and they're out there on unicorns. Yeah, they're out there on unicycles, and they're eating the dirt. Like, thank God for elbow pads, knee pads, shin pads, helmets, because these guys are falling 10, 15 feet, slamming into the ground. But when they land their trick, it's like, good for you. Yes, winning.
Brilliant. I love that.
So if you want to raise your vibration, people, and you do enjoy a good fail video, switch it up. Switch it up to a fail to a win video. You won't be disappointed.
And if you want to catch James's cooking, is that just your James Collins Cares channel? Is that right?
Yeah, James
Yeah.
Collins Cares. I got all kinds of recipes up there, as well as a little bit of my poetry, and I got some life affirmation stuff on there.
That's
I
right.
broke down, I had a
That's
breakdown
right.
one day spiritually, and I felt I was just having the shit kicked out of me by the gods, and I was being tested. And I was
That's
like, man,
right.
you know what? People need to see, because a lot of my friends are like, man, he's positive and he promotes positivity and all these things, and they seem to think that like I was like invincible, and it's just like,
Oh,
no, man, I
yeah.
have harsh breakdowns, like
Mm-hmm.
really harsh breakdowns,
Same.
and all the positives that I know and all of the skills I know that a lot of us share and know go right the hell out the window. They
Absolutely.
do, and they do,
Absolutely.
and why? It's because we haven't finished healing from something. And in that moment of chaos, if we
Mm-hmm.
take the time to allow the thoughts to happen
Mm-hmm.
and go deeper, stop listening to the other narrative voices that aren't our own, that we know the sound of our own inner voice,
Mm-hmm.
break through all those other voices that are in there that we learned from our neighbor and our mom and our babysitter and our siblings.
Mm-hmm.
Find our own inner
Absolutely.
voice, because it's back there and it's hurting. And
Yep.
it's not hurting like, oh, I'm hurting. It's hurting to be heard by
Yes.
us. And
Yes.
our deep voices behind all those negative voices shouting at the top of its lungs, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
You are beautiful. You are accepted. Everything is fine. Don't listen to these people. But we've been at that rock concert for so long, everybody chanting the same fucking shit, that
Yep.
we can't hear the positivity. So we're going to learn together to work our way out of that chaos of
Mm-hmm.
the mosh
Mm-hmm.
pit at the big concert. And you're going to come on a journey with me. And I'm going to come on that journey with you guys as we learn
Mm-hmm.
to get into the library,
Oh, I like
because the
that.
library is where our book is found. And our book is a first print, first edition, signed by the author. And it has every chapter of every story, our story.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
we all going to have good chapters and bad chapters. And
Yep.
we're going to figure out that we are a best-selling book that doesn't need to be written.
I like
It
that.
doesn't need to be written. It needs to be
Mm-hmm.
lived.
Lived.
And through
Absolutely.
the chapters of this book, there are going to be people that come in and out of it from time to time. And some of them are going to remind us how beautiful we are and how valuable we are. Some of
Mm-hmm.
them are going to remind us how much of a piece of shit we were or
Yeah.
we are
True.
being,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? And we
True.
got to accept that. We've done bad things to people. We deserve to hear it.
Mm-hmm. I
And
agree. Sorry, my cat. No, I agree. I think if we've got the humility to accept that we've done bad things and made the worst mistakes, it's people that don't have the humility. They're not going to progress. You need to just be like, hands up, I messed up. I treated that person like shit. I treated myself like shit.
yeah,
Now what am I going to do to change? Sorry, this is my
yeah.
cat's tail. He's just jumped up on my car.
I'm trying to find somebody out there that I wronged in high school, that I took advantage of a situation, and I'm trying to find this person. And I have a friend trying to help me find this person so
Okay.
that I can give them the apology they deserve for the way I took advantage of them.
Okay.
And I said to my
Okay.
friend, and I was like, look, I'm ready and willing to take the punch in the fucking mouth that I deserve, if that's
Wow.
what it's going to take for this person. But they deserve to hear that this isn't an excuse. This is the reason. I was a drug addict, and I would do anything I could to get my drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And
But
it's
that
not an excuse.
person, this is a wee way for you to look at it different. That person, because you treated them like shit, might have changed or might have learned to go and do something different. Like we've just spoke about the positive out the negative. So you
Yeah.
never know. That nasty bit might have benefited him in some way in the future. He might
Yeah.
be some kick-ass CEO of some
Oh no, we
company
found him.
doesn't take any
We
shit.
we have
Did you
found
find
him.
him? Oh well.
You know.
Was he all
Yeah,
right?
we have found him. And interestingly enough, when we found his pictures on Facebook, he's at the caves and waterfall, that like a picture with him and his wife that's literally like 35 minutes from my house. And
Wow.
another picture of them is from the Eagle's Nest, which is a spiritual place that I go with Nicole and and other
Wow.
friends, and we go and we can look out for hundreds of miles. And it's a very spiritual place. And when
Wow.
Nicole
Okay.
found those pictures, I was like, oh my God, this is that person. And you see, I had known them for grade school. And then I moved away and I came back. And he was one of my only real friends, and I took advantage of that. And you know, so he is probably, not to project this into his life, but if that happened to me, I know that I would be thinking about how a person that I trusted really took advantage of me, and it would give me trust issues. And
Yeah, of course.
that man did not deserve that. He
No.
was a really, really wonderful fucking human being.
Mhm.
And I took advantage of his kindness and all of
But
these things.
that was your addiction.
It's haunted me for years.
But that was your addiction, though, James. That wasn't you as
Yeah.
James Collins. Do you know what I
No,
mean?
but
That
me
was
as
not.
James Collins now, I can do everything I can in my power, because this is the one person from everything else I've done in my life that I need to
Yeah, this
apologize.
is going to help you heal, basically. If you do that as well, it's going to help you heal. Because you're obviously carrying it. You're carrying like guilt and shame and whatever. And
Since I stopped using drugs, I've thought about this person on a weekly, if not, well, on a monthly basis. When I'm doing my affirmations at night, and I'm asking the energy of the planet to forgive me for my wrongdoings through actual realization. Not saying I'm sorry, because just those two words, I'm sorry, is an escape. Those are escape words used by people that want to no longer have attention drawn to how they've wronged a human being. I'm sorry is the beginning or the ending of an apology, in which you categorize and list through understanding the way your behavior, words, or actions have affected that human being in a negative manner.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No,
And
it's
then the
brilliant.
best
The person
apology
that you
is a change
became.
in the behavior.
Yes, because actions speak a hell of a lot louder than words. And there's lots of people that say, oh, yeah, I'm going to change. I'm going to do this. I'm not going to do that anymore. And then we just keep hearing it. Not saying us personally, but, you know, you just keep hearing it and hearing it. And eventually you just sort of lose respect for that person, because, you know, it's like you're only lying to yourself. You know, if it doesn't affect our life, you're only lying to yourself. I've just learned, I don't know, I see people coming now, James. I see, you know, what their ulterior motive is. If they've got one, if they've not, that's brilliant. I pick up on energy. Even through screens, I can pick up on energy. And I'm usually quite right about that. Not bang on, but it's just vibes. And it is hard. But with this channel, what I want to do, like yourself, is bring people on that have just completely turned it around. Like literally extremes, you know, and like yourself. I've got a couple of other people that are hoping that they're going to accept my offer, shall we say. But that's what my aim is, James, is just for us to keep spreading light, us to have wee chats like this, hopefully get you some donations and funding. I'm going to put all the stuff in the description box. So if you're watching live, it won't be in the description box, but if you're watching on replay, it'll have all the links for James's care packages and the GoFundMe's and stuff. I mean, even just a couple of dollars, couple of pounds, wherever you're from, couple of shekels even. You know, anything helps. I want to keep your project going. I want you to have as much awareness, promote the hell out of it, because you are an amazing person, James. Honestly.
Thank you.
Like,
You
everybody says it. I know,
you
but
are too. I appreciate it.
I just don't feel like that. No, I'm only joking.
Yeah.
No,
Okay,
honestly,
so I'm just gonna look directly at the camera, because I got a message for all your viewers.
Okay.
You're worth it. You're valuable, and I love you. I see things in you that you might not see in yourself, the way you see things in me that I might not see in myself. We're all walking on this mountain of life together on different paths. We will meet each other on the mountain if we're supposed to, whether it be through a video or whether it be in real person. Just know that we're all fucking valuable, and I love each and every one of you. Right now, later, yesterday, my love doesn't go away. Even when you fuck up, I still love you. Why? Because when I fuck up, you're still going to love me, because we're not perfect, but we are all angels. You and you and you and you and you, you're all angels. And thank you for blessing my life by being here today.
Oh, you're making me feel totally emotional again. Honestly, I can't cry again. No, honestly, it's just so real from you, James. It's just so real from you, and we feel that and I'm just so grateful to have you in my life, in the community, our wee chats. You've helped me through a lot of personal stuff when I've had little dramas or whatever going on with people. So thank you. Thank you for keeping me grounded. Thank you for engaging with all the other people in the group when I'm AWOL for a couple of days. You really are a pillar of lots of communities, but especially your own, and the work that you've done for the homeless people and the people that are in need in Canada. And is it mainly Ottawa? Is that where you're mainly based, or do you go around other
Yeah,
places? Right.
like we generally go to Ottawa because that's where my past is from. Right.
Right. Okay, I
But
like that. Yeah.
when I was in Alberta there 2 years ago shooting the Mountain of Life video,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of homeless people there. So one day I just went to the grocery store and I bought oranges and snack packs and all those things and just went and handed out like 15 bags. And I met a girl on Plenty of Fish actually, and she turned out to be a homeless person. And the next day I brought her a sleeping bag and some shoes and some clothes. And I got an
Amazing.
interview there with a man who'd been stabbed multiple times in multiple situations. The police had pretty much given a green light on him in the sense that if he was calling for distress or whatnot, that there was no rush to be made. If he was bleeding out in the streets, uh,
Jeez.
he had it pretty tough. And we have that interview. It's in my laptop still, and I don't know how to use laptops. Sorry, guys, but
Love
that
it.
video
Love
is there. It's got some pretty harsh realities for some of the people on the streets out in Alberta.
it.
But like if we go anywhere and we see somebody that's in need and we have the ability, like even if it's just one person, right?
Of course. Because even
And
that video
even the
that I
honest
showed.
ones, people are like, "Oh, well, will you give a person money to buy alcohol?" Well, yes, if they said to me, if a person came up, and I generally don't give money. But if a
Yeah.
person came up to me and they're like, "Man, I'm fucking dope sick. I need to get some fucking heroin," I would give them $5 and be like, "Man, go get your fucking hit. If this,
Yeah.
this will help you get that hit, take this $5 and go and get yourself a hit."
Yeah. Because
And
what's
I
in
would
it?
ask them like, "Man, do you want to eat first? I will buy you a meal and then give you $5. But if you're that dope sick, you might not want food right now. But if you go get your hit and you see me around and you're hungry, come find me." Because we're not here to judge people, even though we do. We judge them because people are like, "Oh, well, you judge people." Yes, I do. Or else how do I come up with a conclusion on whether they need help or not?
Yeah, and
I
also keep
judge
yourself
them
safe.
like that person looks like they need some help because I generally don't go to people with signs. The young man that we helped that brought him to Shawarma Palace, he was at an intersection where there isn't homeless people generally in like the project areas with a sign at an intersection. So we were just like, "Fuck, we got to help this guy."
Yeah. And
Right?
as it
But
says in the
generally,
video,
like people that are downtown with a sign, we're not there to help those people. We're
right,
there
okay.
we walk around and we look for souls that look like
Yes.
they're being ignored. I try and feel the energy of like, is this person wanting me to walk up? Right. And sometimes you get that feeling of, man, that person's high as fuck. They don't want to be bothered. Other times you see someone, you're like, man, they're high as fuck. They totally want to be bothered. But they got nobody to talk to.
Yeah.
And time is currency. Right? If a person wants to sit there and jibber jabber about about nothing, I'll let them. I mean, there's the people too, though, that they're asking for help that we can't provide, and they have mental illness. Like there was one girl saying, like, "Can you help me? The lawyers won't talk to me, and I have this chocolate from the Dollarama, and I believe it's poisoned, and I believe they sold it to me because they're trying to poison me." And I can't help that human being, and it hurts to walk away from them while they're still kind of talking. But it's like 90% of the time, they don't even realize that you've walked away.
No,
And not to justify, I'm walking away from somebody that needs help, but I'm unable to facilitate that help.
Waste your energy, and I mean this in a positive. You're going to waste your energy on somebody who's completely gone, where somebody down the road could really do with those 5 minutes chat or whatever. So, and I think obviously you being in that situation, you can gauge it better. You're going to know when people are a wee bit high. You're going to know when people are a bit edgy or coming down dope sick, like you said. And when people are dope sick, that's desperation times. If you give them a bit to get to that even keel, then maybe that might be the day they're like, I don't want to be like I was last night. I'm going to change now because they're not so dope sick. So yeah, I totally agree with that. I think yeah, exactly. Honestly, my cat's driving me crazy. So I'm going to wrap this up anyway soon because we're nearly at 2 hours, if that's okay.
That's great, love. That's
And if
beautiful.
I could get you, please, can you come back on next month, please? If we
Yeah,
could make
yeah,
it a
let's do
regular
it.
thing,
Let's
we
do
could
it.
do that.
Let's once a month. Let's once a month get
Brilliant.
together. And you know
Brilliant.
what? Any of you viewers out there, ask any kind of questions because if I don't have an answer, because I haven't lived it through my own experience, or Zoe hasn't lived it through her experience, maybe somebody else in the live chat has and
Yes.
can share a bit. Or you know what? The collective in the cosmos, it very easily works its way through us.
Yes,
And will
exactly.
give us some information, some esoteric knowledge in which we can share with others. Because honestly, a lot of the time, I don't know where some of the shit I come up with comes from. I'm just open and in
From
tune,
your soul.
and I just, don't give it too
No.
much thought because the truth doesn't need to be thought about.
No, it's funny you say because it is. It's just things that just come to you, and you're like, I don't know where that came from, but it's right, and it's resonation, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of freaky. But yeah, don't put too much thought into it because that's when you start getting critical about things and logical about things, and it just goes. You've lost that connection, if you know what I mean.
It leads very too quickly to self-doubt and lower vibration
Yes,
and
yes.
lower vibrations, guys.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, apologies that we haven't been in the comments much. We've obviously just been chatting away. There hasn't been too many questions, to be fair. But what I would love is for next time for James to come on, you could either drop me some questions on Twitter or I'm on Instagram now, Synchronized Souls Podcast. So you could either drop me a wee one or I'm going to strangle my cat. I love my cat, but it has one of those meows that actually goes down my spine. So yeah, I'm gonna have to say love and light and love yous all, but I'm gonna have to cut this now because I swear he's actually doing my head in.
Beautiful.
But
Thank you
yeah,
all for being
let's do
here.
that. But thank you so much. If you're watching on replay, thank you again for joining us. Drop a wee thing in the comments on YouTube if you've got any questions that you would like James to answer the next time or myself. One day I will do my life story, but that'll be next November. I've also got a wee paranormal thing coming up. I'm going to do some recording with, I don't know what his channel's called. Is it Dark Bot still? Is it Project Rook? What's wrong now?
Project Rook, I believe.
Right, okay. So yeah, we're going to do a wee paranormal thing in Edinburgh because I've got some equipment and he's done it before. So that's going to be a good collaboration, I think. Because I'm all light and he's all grey. So yeah,
As
that's fun.
long as there's no moths or spiders, you guys should be fine.
Well, that
He's
could be
good with the
great.
ghosts. He's good
No,
with the
of
ghosts,
course,
just not the real creepy crawlies.
Denny, exactly. That's why we'll keep it in the summer. But no, I've got that to look forward to. As I say, a couple more guests. I've got Nick back. Nick's doing once a month. If we can stick
Excellent.
to you once a month, then I'll have like a nice wee schedule going. You know what I mean? And that's what I would love.
Yeah, I
Just
think
to have like
one time I
regulars.
watched a bit of with you and Nick there too, and who knows in the future the three of us should get on here together and toss our ideas back and forth.
Absolutely, I would love that. He would love
Sober
that.
Sober Yetis.
Sober Yetis, but it's like sobriety.
Like the sober bit. It's like the sober Bigfoot. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Love it.
So he's doing really well. I spoke to him earlier on. He's doing great. He's like, when are we next on? I was like, we on last week, Nick. But it's good. We're going to help each other grow. We're going to support it's a mutual friend that isn't very well in ICU. So that's why, we're just going to collab together a wee bit more, do some more podcasts, spread the light, have a wee bit laugh with Only Cans with Craig. We're looking for some challenges where we're going to eat those pickles, the dill pickles, that's like garlic, and honestly, I'll be sick. Craig's like, let's do it. We'll do it as a chat. No, I will literally be sick live on YouTube, so it's not happening. But I'm totally open to any other challenges. But yeah, got to go.
I'm gonna send you a care package of baked goods one of these days. We'll ship it overseas.
I'll do it to you. I'll send you like Iron Brew sweeties and stuff.
Yeah.
Let's do that, James.
And some Turkish delight, because we can't buy that shit over here.
Really?
Yeah, I like the gummy candy Turkish delight. I mean, I just watched the recipe on how to make it, but I don't know.
It's florally. It's like rose water kind of. And then you got the chocolate on top. Is that what you mean? Because that's the only kind we get, Turkish delight. I'll find a
There's one-
picture.
Yeah, we'll talk. We'll talk in private about it another time. Bye for now,
Yeah,
everybody.
exactly.
I'm out of here.
Right. Love and light. Thanks, guys. Love you all. Goodbye. Well, thank you very much for watching. I'm going to go let my cat out before I strangle it. Only joking before you report me. Right. Love and light, guys. Thank you so much. See you all soon. Goodbye. Okay, this is the bit that never works for me. That's fine. There we go. And take that down.